everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk podcast. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Theo Harvey. He is the co-founder of SynsorMed. And Theo, appreciate you coming on the line, brother. And I know you're busy, but I'm definitely very excited for this conversation. We've tried to set this up a while back, but due to scheduling conflict, we couldn't do it. But I'm glad that you're here, Theo. But for our viewers who's watching and listening, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your company is all about?
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. And thanks for having me here as well. Super excited to be here. My company, I am in the digital health space, SynsorMed, and we help patients and doctors stay better connected. I think we all went through that horrible pandemic, and that was
Right,
one of the few ways that companies like mine were in the few ways that patients and doctors stay connected because unfortunately a lot of patients just couldn't see their doctors in person. So I've
right,
been in this space for about 10 years, but I came out of it from I used to work in technology, worked for companies like Cisco Systems, AT&T. And
yeah,
T. And so I'm very familiar with just, hey, how can we use technology to help folks? And that's
right.
really what SensorMed is really about.
And then, so how does that work in regards to the medical space? Like, how do you guys, how your business and your company help others out in this?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about it, look, we're having a conversation now. We're doing a podcast over video, right? I'm in Florida. You're off on the West Coast. And
Right.
so the ability to kind of have conversations with experts is really becoming more and more important now, right? Especially with the
Yeah,
arrival of the internet. So think about the ultimate expert is a doctor, right? Someone that can
right.
kind of help you and take care of you and make sure you're doing well from just a overall holistic health standpoint. So telehealth is a big buzzword, but the ability to kind of
Absolutely.
provide healthcare services remotely is basically what we do. And so my company is enabling that technology, especially for mid-sized practices who may not have the big budgets to invest heavily into these type of services. So our company goes in and kind of does a complete done for you service. We kind of, before we got on this podcast, we were figuring out all the different bells and whistles to kind of get this to work, right? Well,
You're
guess
right.
what? Doctors have no time to do any of that, right? And
Correct.
so having someone come in and kind of set all that up between them and their patients, all they got to do is push a button, talk to their patient, or get data from their patient without a lot of headaches. That's
You're right.
basically what my company does.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Now, how long have you been with this company that you co-founded?
Yeah, I started it before the pandemic, actually. And so I tell everyone, don't quit your day job. I was still working
Right.
my day job, right? In
Nice.
sales, business development at Cisco. And my business partner, my co-founder, we've been friends for like over 25 years.
Yeah.
And he had this idea. We came together on like, hey, how can we put technology together? So I just put on my sales hat and just sold something differently and talked to doctors about it. The thing, this is a key to everybody,
Yeah.
as a coach, when you're building a business, the goal is you got to find what the market wants. And
Exactly.
I think initially when I was trying to sell it, I thought the market wanted a solution to help their patients better. Oh, doctor, this would be better care for your patients. This will help them for all that. No, that wasn't what they wanted. They wanted a way to make money. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
once what happened was,
Yeah.
yeah, when the reimbursement changed where they were able to make money using our solution, that's when we saw our revenue go up. And so I think,
Wow.
I really learned that it's really about understanding the market and what the market's telling you at once, and then positioning your product and solution for that.
Wow. That's pretty cool how you guys came up with a solution and essentially just for your ideal client or doctors and all that, right? Come up with a solution like this. Telehealth is actually something that's very big now. A lot of my appointments, if it's not like a physical exam, I do a lot of my medical appointments through telehealth, and I find it so easy and useful, and saves a lot of time for a lot of people instead of traveling, getting stuck in traffic, all that stuff. It's just really um, much more helpful. For example, I do basically, essentially, I do a counseling on communication, having more so on handling different, I guess, conflicts, stuff like that, because I wanted to learn how to be able to do better when it comes to conflict resolution. So we're in this group where we share kind of like a Zoom call where we have our lead, person, like just facilitating the conversation and everything else. But all of that stuff, everything seems to be done using, video calls and all of those things. And I feel like it's going to be the norm now moving forward. And that's pretty cool that you started a business that's going to help doctors out with that. So that's
Absolutely.
essentially really really amazing, dude.
No, I
And then
appreciate it.
Theo, you said you were in sales, right, prior to being a co-founder here. Are you is that completely done now? Are you just focused more on your business, currently as we speak, or
Well, Jay, I see all that 10x behind you, right? And so I
right?
know Uncle G says you're never out of sales, right? I mean, so you're always selling something, man. What
Always.
I may not be selling the day-to-day things that I used to when I
Yeah.
first started out, but I'm selling, our business to investors or
Right.
selling to potential bigger partners, but really kind of proving the value. And really it's not is really what people are looking for when you
Right.
sell them, what the value that you can provide to them. And so that's really what I go about in my day to day. But yeah, previously I sold things like routers, switches, if that means anything to anybody
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore. But those are the technology that enabled the internet. I'm a little older, don't look it, but I'm a little older. So in the back in the day, before you had the internet just work, right? You
Right.
had to create all these connections with big types of computers and systems. And so that was my company Cisco did back in the day. So it was a lot of money being made because it was just like building the super
Yeah.
internet highway, right? And
Right.
so then obviously, over time, we try to say, oh, can we put voice over the internet? And so that became a big thing, calling people using the internet. It was a lot cheaper than the
Right.
traditional way. And then finally video. And so, I was very immersed in that space. And then obviously when video became more known, especially with Zoom and
Right.
WebEx tools, that's when, my eyes started to pick up around like, hey, can this be
Right.
used for other industries, right?
Yeah.
Like what, and healthcare being one of them. And so I think it's just, it's funny. I don't know. You tell me, Jay. Is it the company picks you, or you pick the company? It's almost a mixture of both, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you start, it's like you kind of follow your passions and what you kind of get good at, and then the more you get good, you build those skill levels up, and then guess what? Other opportunities that you never thought of opened up
Open side.
because you
Right.
built those skills already.
Absolutely. And I mean, I actually just talked about it recently that for some of the guys I'm coaching right now, that regardless of what niche or industry you're in, if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, your first job is sales.
Mhm.
And essentially, it doesn't matter what you sell, a product or a service, but we're always selling other people to either use or buy our products or use our services. And I feel like sales is one of the most like top skills that you need to learn in order to grow your business, right? And that's one of the reasons like I wanted to ask. It's like you've done sales in the past and years of experience already, so you're very comfortable with that. But would you agree that something that like is sales is crucial in every new business?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the lifeblood of every company. Consistent sales growth. I mean, I think we may have gotten away from it a little bit, obviously,
Yeah.
and Grant talks about this too, right? He would rather be a marketer, maybe in some cases, than a salesperson. But I can guarantee those communication skills he built when
Hmm.
he used to do car sales and when he used to
Right.
sell car sales training,
Right.
I'm sure that one-to-one interaction and how to understand his market helped him because that built up his marketing know-how. Because sales is just having conversations, right? Finding out what
I
people
love that.
want, what they like, and really just really having empathy about their problem, right? You
Right.
say, so if you have starting a business, like a car wash, and you're
Right.
saying, okay, well, what are some of the things that people need? Well, does it rain a lot? Maybe they'll need a car wash on these certain days, or maybe because they're at work, they don't have a lot of time to car wash the car. So that's a problem.
Right.
Maybe I can go to their office buildings, right, and wash the car for them. And so it's just really trying to solve a problem and make it valuable for someone. And then I think when you kind of think of it that way, I think, when we grew up, it was like, oh, the sketchy salesman, or he's,
Right.
trying to sell you a
Right.
lemon car, or, he's trying to like, I'm gonna make you buy this. I think we've gotten away from that because it's almost like you're just trying to give people information at this point. And
At
it's
this
just like,
point,
hey,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
what sales is. And then I think sales becomes better when you have more confidence in what you're selling, the product or the service, and you say, "Hey, I know this work. I've seen it work for my other folks. So whether you buy it or not, I know this works." So and I think people sense that confidence on you, and that
Right.
makes sales a lot easier because you're talking to them about a solution to their problem, for a fee, but that fee they're paying is probably way less than the value they're going to get. And once you
Exactly.
kind of put it into that framework, in my mind, I don't think sales is as bad. But I get it. Some people are a little hesitant to kind of have those conversations, but you get used to it. It's a skill, just like
It's a
anything
skill.
else.
It's certainly a top skill that you need to have, and I love how you put it that way. That every sale is a conversation, right? So I do talk about that as well. Like every business opportunity starts with a conversation, and before, yeah, the way sales used to be back in the day, it's like the harder sell type. Whereas
Hmm.
now, because of internet, you can research everything about the brand, the company, and the product itself. And so it's more of having that conversation and being authentic. And one of the key things that I do understand is that you have to believe in your product and your services in order for your client or a customer see the value that, hey, you know what, this particular person believes in what they present.
Hmm.
So I think that's one of the key things in regards to sales is that you have to believe in your services or the product that you provide. So that's pretty amazing, man. And what a question following up with that, what made you switch, like leave your 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship? Because as you know, entrepreneurship is it's risky, right? It's not guaranteed, and you obviously had advice, don't leave your day job first before you go full blown. And I believe in that as well, for sure, 100%. But what for you, Theo, like what made you look into saying, hey, you know what, I've been doing great in my 9 to 5 or my W-2, but now I want to get into entrepreneurship. So what made you
Yeah.
like make that transition?
Yeah, great question. I think it was always in me. I mean, I came from it honestly. My grandfather was an entrepreneur.
Nice.
Always had there was a contractor in Illinois, in a small town, Illinois, called
Yeah.
Kankakee. And just I used to go out there all the time with him and be out on hot roofs,
Hmm.
changing, putting tiles up and doing all this stuff when I was younger. And
Yeah.
then when I would come home after the summer, I would like sell candy in school, and then on the side just to make some extra money.
I love
Always just
it.
thinking about different ways to make money. Even when I was working, I had I started a little real
Side
estate
hustle.
business.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it was a little side hustles. Did real estate business. Had a mortgage company. My wife was a realtor, and then
Yeah.
this is '09. So if you don't know the
Oh
history
yeah.
of '09,
No,
everything kind of
absolutely.
collapsed a little bit. But so
No,
it was
yeah.
always in me. So I think if you're an entrepreneur, and I sense it in other people. Like when I met you, of course, it's just something about entrepreneurs. We just have to be almost delusional. I hate to use that term, but it's like
Yeah.
you kind of because to you on the outside looking in, I've gotten this like, man, you're leaving the job that's over 6 figures and you're doing all this,
Right.
and you're not even doing that much, and you get to work from home, and you're gonna start your own business. And it's just
And
like I
work
didn't want to be.
nowadays, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't want to. I didn't want to go. This may seem a little bit morbid, but it's always kind of how I think. I always think with the end in mind. I didn't want to
Mm,
be on my deathbed and regret that I never took the chance to start my own
right.
business, right? And I had thought about. I was going to thought after I finished school,
Yeah.
I just say, hey, I'm going to work for 5 years, and then I was going to be out. I ended up working for that company for almost 20 years, and
Wow.
so yeah, so I was like, you know what? I mean, it was a
It's
perfect
time.
time moment. Almost didn't happen again. I think I may have told this story to you before on one of our other podcasts,
Yeah.
but it was like during the pandemic, right before the pandemic. I told my boss I was leaving in January 2020, and then the pandemic hit, as we all
Right.
know. And then I told my boss, let's hold off. Let me see what's going to happen first. And
Yeah.
then, but I finally, made the full jump August of 2020. And it's like you said, it's ups and downs, but really always pushing forward, man. And I'm learning more and more every day. So it's been
I
exciting.
love that, man. I love that. So what is it like? What's the day to day like for you as a co-founder of this business? Obviously, you're still an operator, I'm assuming. as I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still doing the more. Well, I don't do the day to day. My co-founder, he's more the operations guy
Gotcha.
now, and so I kind of transition more of that to him. I think some of the gurus like Ryan Pineda, other folks have said this. Kind of have a visionary and an operator, right, in your
Correct.
business, and so
Visionary
so
builder. Yep.
yep. And so he's more the builder. So he's very good process guy. So he kind of runs our team calls across all our different departments.
Nice.
I kind of initially set them all up and then I walk away and say, okay, I'm done. And so
Yeah.
see you later. So yeah, day to day to me is basically, I'm kind of really centered as of now, as is really more centered in the marketing and some of the product development. And so basically I'm
Nice.
really focused on positioning our new solution sets for this year, kind of thinking about how we're going to position ourselves better from a marketing standpoint. Have a
Yeah.
marketing manager that does the one that you probably talked to that does a lot of the coordination and does all the
Right.
things that sets everything up for me. And so that's kind of the big thing I really want to focus in on just for the foreseeable future, because being a visionary, as I think you're a visionary too.
Right.
uh, I'm always writing ideas down. I'm like, oh man, I can do this, I can do that. And I find myself, I can do it, the operational role. But when I do, it deflates that visionary role. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to be more visionary. And
Yeah.
so I think everybody, this is maybe a little bit more mature entrepreneurs kind of start realizing that, because you want to stay in your strengths, because that's
Yeah.
going to give you energy, and that's going to allow the company to grow. Because you could do it. I mean, we're entrepreneurs. You could probably do anything in the business if I had to.
Yes.
But
Yes.
should you? That's always the question.
Well,
So
the
that's
goal
kind of
is
like
essentially, as you grow your business and your team, you hire the right people that can help you with some of the other important tasks.
yeah,
Because as an entrepreneur, initially we're multi-hatted when we first launch a business, right? But it's not it's not scalable. You can't do it by yourself all the time. And I'm actually glad that you have a business partner who is running the operation side of things, because it definitely helps out a lot. Whereas if you're more of the visionary, you can look at process improvement, business development, and everything else. So that's pretty cool. Having a business partner within the business that you have.
yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing I didn't realize too, you right. There's a book. I mean, everybody's been kind of recommended, but
Mhm.
it's the Who, Not the How by Dan Sullivan and
How?
Dr. Dan
Yeah,
Hardy. And
yeah,
they talk about this, the goal of business. Oh, you have it there.
yes,
Yep,
it's right
yeah,
here.
yeah. The
Great
who, not
book.
the how. Yep.
Yeah,
And they're right. You want to get more and more who's and better who's, right? Because,
right.
and I didn't realize this. So the key thing is, what you want to do is free up your time first. So you might have to make the investment for those better who's more than you feel comfortable doing. But you got to realize, once you get free up your time, then
Right.
more money will come. But you have to,
Absolutely.
because your mind is now free to kind of think of these new ideas and thoughts and just go after it. And so I didn't realize that at first. I was like, oh man, it's all going to fall apart if I don't do it. And then
Yeah.
once you start giving that up more, then you say, oh, I got all this time now that I didn't have
Right.
before. So now I'm thinking like, we could do this, we could do that. And, start slowly but surely revenue started to, grow faster and faster.
Increase.
So
I love it, man. And
yeah.
as far as criteria, I'm not sure if your business partner or yourself have experience in hiring somebody, right? But obviously, I told you, like, one of my main business before I became a business advisor with 10x is I run a successful recruiting agency. And obviously, hiring the right people is very crucial to growing a business. But what are some of the things that you guys look for when hiring for a specific role for your company?
Wow, yeah, that's a deep question. I think I'm constantly still learning to do
Mhm.
better at that. We are a truly remote team. We started
Right.
that way, even when me and my business partner were less than 5 miles from each other. But now he's in another state than I am right now.
Yeah.
But the goal has always been to kind of build a truly virtual team, and so
Right.
that is the challenge, right? Like, how do you find great quality people?
Great.
And I
Yep.
think it starts with, the way I kind of incorporates three things we kind of look at is definitely culture mix. They need
Mm.
to understand, what the culture's about. And so whenever someone's on board, we have our kind of presentation that he and I gave on what the company is about, what our vision is,
Love
what
it.
our core values are, and well, I
Mm.
thought a lot of that was fluff,
No, yeah.
back in the day, but it gives a standard, if nothing else. So, because I don't have to say it as the visionary, as a leader, you live those values out. But then if you kind of have it stated, then people always know. And then guess what? The culture will take care of itself, right? You don't have to worry about people doing the wrong thing or not doing it because everyone is aligned to it, and that
Right.
person that is not in that culture will stick out like a red thumb.
I,
So that's
I
kind of one thing we, kind of hit up. And then also we really believe in standard operating procedures. So making sure
mm,
when we do hire people, we have a process in place that's consistent and we
I
can
love
learn
it.
from it. So that way we're not, hiring, off brand. So, and then
Right.
if we hire the wrong person, we go back to our process and say, okay, we're in a process that we miss it. Should we have, so 2 interviews? Should we have 3 interviews? Or should I not be interviewing? Should this other person be interviewing? So we can kind of improve that process and get the right people in. And then third, just passion, having someone who's excited about the work and what the opportunity. Yeah, they would like the money. Yes, they like probably the freedom of working from home. But this is something that you want you to be more proactive. So you
Yeah.
want to, and people who are passionate are proactive. And so I think that's something that
Absolutely.
we're always looking for. So
I
you
love
kind of
that.
look at that.
I love this. A few things that I definitely loved about what you just said. Going back, with passion. Passion is something that cannot be taught. And for me, when I hire somebody onto my team, whether it's a recruiter or a sales personnel, that's one of the criteria I always like grade them on, whether they're really driven, passionate, or like super determined, right? Hungry. And because you can teach skills. You can teach somebody how to communicate to others, how to sell, and just build a relationship. But if they don't have that the internal like hunger or some like in what you stated passion, it's going to be pointless. It's going to be difficult to get that person to get motivated and all that stuff. But the
Yeah.
passion internally is something that I also look for. And the second thing that I loved about what you stated is that you guys have a mission, vision, and core values, right? Inside your business. And I too, I thought those are like fluff stuff that should we even have it or whatnot. But I strongly believe it now is that you gotta have those documented, right? You gotta have your people understanding what your mission and your vision is, and the core values that you guys represent. Because without that, you guys are gonna be unaligned, and there's no direction of your business. And so, I love that you talked about that because majority of small business owners, entrepreneurs that doesn't necessarily have a team, um, one, two, three people, they don't have a mission and vision statement, nor do they have core values that they believe in. And so I see a lot of those entrepreneurs that are don't have that end up, failing, right?
Oh,
So I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
that you guys mentioned that.
Well, and I think it's just, it's just like foundation. I think sometimes we just like, oh, we just want to build a skyscraper. Like, how much money can I make as fast as I can make it, right?
Correct,
But then
correct,
you realize because you didn't build the foundation correctly, you're going to be limited. You can't build a skyscraper. You can maybe build a hut, and then you're
right,
like, wait a minute, why am I still stuck at this monthly revenue for the
yeah,
last like 2 years? Well,
right,
because you got to build that foundation, and so that's, I think all entrepreneurs kind of get to that point where, no one just comes out the womb knowing this stuff, right? You almost have to kind of bump your head a couple of times. You're like, okay, this is what I have to do to kind of build, more sustainable business and get to the next level. And I'm sure there's other levels as we both go up that, that you run into as well. So
right,
it's a constant learning game. And so what they call this is an infinite game, right? And the goal
yeah.
is to learn as much as you can and stay in as long as you can because you get better.
Absolutely. So, I love those things, man. Like, when did you like, as far as that goes? Like, I know you talked about having an SOP, which is also very important to have, right? You got to have an SOP for how the sales process goes, the business development, have an SOP for hiring, and the criteria that you have. Not a lot of people know that. As for you, like, you've only been I guess a co-founder of a business for what, like less than 4 years,
Mhm.
but it seems like you're very, the 4 years you do learn a lot, right? Did you guys have that from the very beginning, or was it something that you learned in the middle, probably a year or two later?
Yeah, I would say yes. I do all this at the very beginning. No,
I
but
love that,
I
man.
mean, I wish. I mean, I'm like you. I'm a book reader. I got you
Right.
can't see it, but I got my little bookcase behind me over here
Yeah.
too. So I'm always getting stuff, and I'll write it down. And so we can implement that. We can implement that. But it's like it isn't until you kind of hit the with the stuff hits the fan, right? When you kind of like, oh, this
Right.
is why that book told me to do that. And
Right.
so
Right.
then you go, let me go backwards and let's figure this out. And so, yeah, I mean, I mean, it just makes your life easier because,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think that's what it is because you only limited. You have to start thinking about leverage as you start to
Yeah.
scale up because you can only like we talked about you're only one person, and I talked about this before, but you got capital. We did that when we got some VC funding to help us grow our business.
That's super cool.
Labor, having people to kind of delegate to the right people, and you talked about hiring right. Automation, what tools can you utilize to kind of automate that? And then media, what we're doing now, just kind of spreading the message. And so we do a lot of recordings as well on how we train people on our systems so they
Oh,
can watch the
nice.
recordings. Yeah, so they can watch the recordings and know how to do it. So yes, they can still get one-on-one, coaching and thoughts and have a shadow person, to
Right.
look at things. But just having recordings there and then having SOPs, it keeps the institutional knowledge inside the company.
Right. Well, I know you have a personal brand on Instagram, but for your business itself, what platform are you guys leveraging to put out your services to your ideal avatar or your audience?
Yeah, definitely. Similar services that I do with my personal brand, but yet, YouTube is really good for education, of course.
Right.
LinkedIn is good because it's more we sell a B2B product
B2B.
set, and so
Yeah.
that really helps us as well. And so and then Instagram is just we actually went early on Instagram. Probably could have did a lot more on the brand back in the
Yeah.
day,
Back then,
but
yeah.
still slowly growing it. Because I think I missed the mark. I think yeah, we had started, wow, when we first started the company back in what 2015, 16, had an intern doing some few things. I probably should have went more heavy on it because I think there was a
Back
period of
then,
Instagram where a lot of folks could, just super
yeah.
accelerated. But I deferred, late for lessons learned. But yeah, and really what we're seeing now is more of awareness funnel for us. So if you look at sales and marketing like a funnel, it's awareness. They have to know, then they have to like you. So that's where the campaigns around marketing, emails, campaigns, and just
All of those.
education, webinars, free webinars, one
Nice.
sheets, things like that to kind of get them to like us, and then
Oh,
eventually
that's
start to
cool.
trust us, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so really try to create that funnel.
I love that, man. So you guys are like doing free webinars as well?
Oh yeah, I started that last year. We did it before, but I really went heavy in it, and so
Yeah.
slowly but surely getting the word out there.
Nice.
What helps us, we're in healthcare, so it's a little different. So we just have to
Right.
partner with the right folks. So we
Right.
just did one with a nurse group, and that helped us a lot. And so
That's cool.
learning how to kind of position how we get a lot of our deals is definitely word of mouth. So basically, we have doctor clients that refer us to their buddies, or we do
With
like
the
lunch and
network.
learns, and then
Yeah.
also obviously sales, right?
Right.
Direct
Right.
sales. So those are the two ways. This new future for us is really kind of branding ourselves and marketing ourselves better, so we can get these deals a little bit faster. So that's kind of the vision for myself.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I'm sure you would agree that marketing is also very crucial. I think I put marketing and sales up there, inside your business to getting you above seven figures. That's actually what I teach. Is like there's three things that I teach my clients who are below seven figures. Is obviously the mindset, right? As a leader, as an entrepreneur, business owner, and then obviously like mastering sales and marketing are like the top things that you need or skills that you need to leverage to getting you to be profitable at that level. And obviously for you, you have your personal brand on Instagram that I follow, and that the reason I'm assuming that you're putting out content as well is to just leverage free advertising, right? And let people know about your business.
Yeah, yeah. I think people have to like you, right? They know you, they need to know you, they have to like you. So the personal brand is what someone made it clear to me because I didn't, I had some content out there, but it was never me. It was like, my employees or someone else. But then end of 2022, I said, I'm going to go all in on it. Right. I think saw some gurus like Ryan Pineda. He had a course. And I said, I'm going to do this and see how this works. And
Nice.
then what happened was I saw a competitor of mine. They had put a lot of content up on
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'll bump this. I'm going all in.
Heck
And
yeah.
so I went all in on like last year, and we've been consistent with it, growing
Nice.
it steadily. I'm like I said, I'm super excited that it's growing steadily. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not
Right.
one of these influencers. I need to have 10,000 by tomorrow. No,
No, it takes
it's
time.
it's yeah. I'm just gonna build it over time and just be
And
consistent.
and
Um,
it's not
but
about just the quantity, it's the quality of audience that you want to attract.
exactly. And that's kind
Right.
of what I'm looking for. And
Mhm.
so, like I said, I mean, it's because it's an asset, just like anything else, like a real estate asset or, cash in the bank, your balance sheet. This is just another asset. So you build it over time. And then, so to your point, you get big as, someone else, then, you can send out a mailer to all your followers and you probably make sales just like that, because
Right.
they know you, they like you, they trust you. And one thing I realized too, a personal brand, yes, you can brand a company, but people, it's hard for people to have aspirations for a company, right?
Hmm.
It's hard for people to see that they can be like a company. That's why Nike went with Michael Jordan, right? They said,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
you don't buy Nikes just to have Nikes. You buy Nikes to be like Mike,
Right.
right? And
That's a
so
fact.
that's why personal brands are so more powerful now, because so I was like, well, I guess I need to be a personal brand. And so once I'm a personal brand and building that up, then
Yeah.
yes, by the way, I have SensorMed, or by the way, I have this. And so
Right.
I think the goal is to just to show my personality, and I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a lot of lessons to learn, still learning, but
Yeah.
like you said, I'm in it for the long haul.
That's pretty cool, man. And so, did you sign up with Volti Creator when we first met at a WealthCon, or was it something that happened?
Yeah, I did it. Wow, when did I do that? So I
Is
met you in 2023. It was November 2022. I saw
it,
because yeah,
was it
well, so what happened was, let me
was that
tell you the
LA?
story. Huh?
Was that in Los Angeles when we first met, or
Yeah, it was in LA. I met you in
okay,
LA.
yeah,
Yep. That was I think the second one that year. It was
something like
in
that,
May, April. Yeah, and I haven't gone to the one in Vegas yet, but may go check it out one of these years.
see how it is. Yeah,
But yeah, I'm on he was talking about bringing it down to Miami, and I was like, okay, that'd been perfect, but I think he
that
he
would be
slowed
yeah.
that. Yeah, he slowed that down a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, I had kind of went so truth be told, so I knew Grant Cardone years ago, right? When I was
Wow.
working, and I, loved his books, 10X, of course, and then all
Mhm.
the other ones, and then forgot about him. And then buddy of mine, you remember he did that TV show, Billionaire, Undercover
Undercover
Billionaire.
billionaire. Yeah.
I remember I had watched it for a hot second, and I couldn't find out where it was on Discovery or something.
Yeah.
Forgot all about it. He had found a link where it was like the whole show where Grant Cardone was there. So
On
I
you.
watched that. It was like around, I want to say, October of 2022.
Yeah.
I watched that whole series and got rehyped again. I said, "Man, that's what I'm talking about." And Grant kind of brought me back into, and through him and I found these other gurus and just trying to, got more inspired. And that's when, I found Ryan and kind of got into Wealthy Creator. So yeah, so Grant, Uncle G brought me back, man. I was like, I don't know about this entrepreneur thing. There's a lot going on. And then just listen to him and just, showing his story
Dope.
of, building this company from nothing, as an undercover billionaire, really got me excited again, as being an entrepreneur. So that was pretty good. So super hype about that.
I think we're having a
So
connection
those are kind of
problem.
things that I saw that was pretty cool about what was going on with him. So, but other than that, that's pretty much, the story of what I'm doing and what I've been building over the last couple of months, and looking at, the future of where my company is going. And so this is super exciting journey that I've been on for the last couple of months and years, even, and especially building up a personal brand, because that is something that is super, super exciting to me, because I definitely see the futures in that, right? Whether it's me actually doing the talking or if it's an avatar that's based in AI, or artificial intelligence, is definitely something I can see the future, is coming for me. So definitely something I'm super excited about, and what it can mean, for my brand. So Jay, this has been great. Definitely enjoyed talking to you and learning from you as well, and just all the stuff you're doing. Would love to kind of connect. If people want to connect with me, they can check me at the real Theo Harvey. I'm all the platforms like that, at the underscore real underscore Theo underscore Harvey. So go check me out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the great platforms, so you get a better sense of where we can be at.